Hey everyone, welcome back. We're going to take a look now at our animation controls. So we've looked at the rig controls, and now we need to look at our blend shape controls, which actually control the face, the actual expressions. So what we're going to do is pop across to, strangely enough, the sculpting tab. Unfortunately, in this version of Maya, with Autodesk messing around with the interface so much, what they've done is actually put the blend shape control panel inside the sculpting tab. It used to be over in animation because you actually use it to animate, and it made sense that way, but you know, they've gone ahead and moved it. You can access the panel here under this blend shape editor button. So if I click on that, you'll see this panel pop up. Okay, so these are our control sliders for our facial system. Now, another way of getting to this would be under the window menu, animation editors, blend shape, just here. Okay. So what we're going to do is take a look at this. Okay, now you can resize this panel. Okay, you can kind of make it go sideways, obviously, and you can also kind of extend it up and down as well. Now, each of these sliders controls part of the face. Okay, so we've got like eyelid controls, we've got some eyebrow controls. Most of these ones, where it says Visine, one of the problems with this interface, and it's always been the case, is that you can't scale these columns, so it always crops the names off. But any of these that say Visine basically are the mouth controls for the different shapes for getting the character to talk. Okay, we also have some, what are these ones? These are the eyebrows up and down. So those are eyebrows up, and these ones are eyebrows down, just here. Okay. So I'm going to go through and show each of these to you guys. We've got in the options, we do have an option here to show edit HUD. So if I turn that off, okay, you can see that in here it does nothing. All right, so you might as well just leave that alone. But it does have this orientation, and that's going to change the way these sliders are displayed. Currently I've got it on horizontal, so the sliders go horizontal. If I change it to vertical, they'll do this. And you can see that this takes up a lot more room, but it still doesn't give you the option of seeing the entire blend shape name. So I tend to keep it vertical, like the list vertical and the sliders horizontal, because this just takes up a hell of a lot more room. So orientation horizontal, you can see that's a little bit easier to deal with, and we can just kind of squeeze this down like this. So you can open this up as a floating window. Whoops, let's not do that. Yeah, floating window. You can also, if you want, another way of dealing with this is if you open up, for example, this outliner perspective view just here. Okay, so this is the outliner. There's our perspective view. If you come over to panels and then down to panel and down to blend shape just here, you can actually set your sliders up in pretty much a viewport setting like this. And then you can kind of work, you know, sort of like this. It's up to you, see how you go. With this, I tend to find the floating panels actually a little bit smaller than this, so I'm actually going to go with the floating panel. So we'll just shut that down, go back to animation and open up blend shapes. There we go. I tend to find this a little easier. You know, the bigger the viewport you've got for your models, the easier it is to kind of see what you're doing. All right. So let's take a look at how this works. First of all, you can expand this up and down. You can collapse this, but you won't need to. We've only got one model with blend shapes on. Do not touch the delete button or the add target or add base. Don't touch those at all. I also probably wouldn't mess around with key all or reset all. We might do a key all right at the beginning, but reset basically can be handy. It'll just set all the values back to 0. So in other words, it just turns all the shapes off. But most of the time what you're going to be doing is adjusting these values. Occasionally you might turn one of these on and off, or type numbers in, and you'll also be using these key buttons. We don't really want to play around with these buttons. If you press one of these bins, it's going to actually remove that whole control. So you don't want to do that. I always thought that this is the show edit HUD would turn those off, but it doesn't. It's a bit of a, kind of a waste of a control, really. Okay, so let's look at what these do. So we've got a wink control for the right. So RGT is right and LFT is left. Okay, pretty straightforward. This is the characters left and right. It's not the left and right of the screen. So if I use the wink right, his right eye will wink like this. So we just slide it up and down. All of these work between values of 0 for off and 1 for on. Okay, we've got a wink left as well. And if we want the character to blink, you can just dial both of them up. Keyframe them at the same time. Like that. We've got eyebrows up. So we can kind of either make him surprised, or we can make it look like he's being a bit creepy with the ladies. We also have brows down. So if he's looking a bit angry, or the ladies have knocked him back, he's going to kind of look a bit like that. I'm going to skip the Visimes for a minute, and we also have individual eyebrow up controls. There aren't individual eyebrow down controls, but like I said, it's pretty limited. All right. Now, if we go into these 4 Visine controls, okay, the letters after them give you sort of the phonetic sounds for these particular shapes. So this first one can be used for M sounds or B sounds. So B like book and M like man. Okay, and the face shape that it creates is this one. So basically it's compressing the lips together like an sound or a book sound. Okay, the next one here is F and V. So that's like a F sound, like he's blowing through his through his teeth, through his lip, like that. And this one here is sort of A, E, and U. Okay, so that's sort of like A or E, but that can also be E, like a B, and a U as in U. Okay, or A. So like, like a bug spray, for example, bug spray. Okay, so that's that Visine there. The last one is oo. Okay, so that might be as in hey you, like that, like an oo sound. But that could also work as an like book. So it could be oo or kind of sound. Okay, and you can see there that it actually does that out of the side. Okay, so those are the different facial shapes. I'm going to leave this video here now that we've kind of taken a look at the actual blend shapes. I'm trying to keep these to about 10 minutes. What we're going to do in the next one is actually keyframe a few of these, and I'll show you how the keyframing works. Then what we'll do is keyframe it to some audio. I'll probably just do this first word, perhaps. So we'll leave this here, and I'll see you again for a bit of keyframing.